Welcome to episode 4, part 1 of the Birds Words podcast. Our guest today is Rob Gray. Rob has served 23 years in the United States Army. He is a Special Forces Green Beret and Army Ranger. He deployed 7 times at the height of the wars, spending approximately 40 months total deployed to combat zones. He retired as a lieutenant colonel in 2020 and is a 100% disabled veteran. In 2021, he was paired with a golden retriever service dog named Plato, like the philosopher, from the America's Vet Dogs with the help of the U.S. SOCOM Warrior Care Coalition program. He's the proud father of 4 sons. He has a master's degree in Theological Studies. He's currently pursuing a second master's degree in clinical mental health counseling. He's also a graduate of the University of Alabama in Tuscaloosa, where he received his commissioning into the Army. He moved to Florence, Alabama in 2021, splitting his time between here and Oregon until moving back here permanently in the summer of 2023 to be near his 4 sons. He loves the outdoors, playing soccer and doing yoga, hiking, and taking Jeep trips with his dog, painting, writing, and plays piano with a local band. His journey of faith has been with him since childhood. He served as a men's ministry director in 2 churches, is an ordained deacon, and led a pastoral search committee in his previous church. His faith has sustained him throughout his life, not only through his career in the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq, but through other more personal wars here at home. He's a strong advocate for veterans and children's mental health, and is equally passionate about ending veteran suicide, topics which we'll get into later in the podcast. All right, Rob Gray, welcome. Honor to have you on the show. I've enjoyed getting to talk with you and everything we've talked about so far. But
good to be here.
I'll go ahead and get started with how we met. Unique story, right?
Yeah, it actually is. Yeah.
Going through Culver's one day, I look on the back of this cool Jeep. I see this "Life is hard, God is good" sticker, and then I look over and I see a Special Operations sticker. And so this podcast obviously highlights grit and faith, and I thought, might be somebody to talk to. Well, he drives around the corner, and so I'm like, oh, well, maybe it was a window, maybe it wasn't, I don't know. But sometimes if something's meant to happen, it's going to happen. So pull around, waiting on some food. Boom, sure enough, there he is. I'm like, man, I want to talk to this guy. I don't, hope he doesn't get violent when I pull up next to his window. I mean,
He's pulling up on me.
Yeah, I'm nervous when people roll up on me. So I'm like, hey, man, saw you got maybe, some faith and some grit. And I do this podcast. You want to talk about it? And we've hung out a few times. And one thing I really appreciate is your intentionality of wanting to share your faith and not. I mean, your stories, I think, are going to be great, the stories that you tell, but I appreciate you wanting to share the faith element of your story. Yeah, and so thanks for being on the show.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I never go to Culver's.
Yeah.
I've been there one time since I moved here in 21 with my parents, and it's just a place I would go, and I was out, and someone cued me to go to Culver's, and I'm pulling around getting a hamburger, late.
You've been missing out on some good cheeseburgers. You see what you're missing out on?
It was, yeah. So we're like doing an advertisement for Culver's now. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Come sponsor John's show.
We'll send them the bill, right?
That's right. So it was cool, and I appreciate that because you basically said, "Hey, man, can I ask you a question?" Yeah. And I was like, "All right, what do you want to know?" And
it was just as weird for me as it was for you.
Well, your kid was in the back seat too.
Yeah.
So yeah. So it is cool being here. It's and I think it's a great ministry. I think it's an important thing to talk about. And I just want to affirm your ministry and your podcast. And first time I've ever done this, I guess kind of nervous. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I hear that a few times.
I got my dog here. I got Plato here with me. So.
Oh yeah, Plato, very cool. Well, tell me a little bit about your background. I mean, tell me about yourself.
Rob Gray, hadn't been anywhere, hadn't done anything. I mean,
Lies. That's what you're going to tell the American. We got listeners across the world. The first thing you're going to do is lie to them.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I guess me. Well, I'm retired from the Army. Spent 23 years. That was my profession. Graduated from the University of Alabama. So from Louisiana. Graduated Alabama. Went in the Army. Was a Special Forces officer. The wars kicked off. I went in '97. The wars kicked off in '01. I got there in '04 and finished the Q course.
So you went to school first. Did you say you did something while you were in school, or you went to school and then you decided, no, I'm going to go in. I'm going to enlist.
I knew from the time I was young. My dad was in the Army,
okay.
And he's a military intelligence officer. And I knew from the time I was young. I wanted to. I read all the alert books in high school and junior high, and John Wayne and the Green Berets, and
you're predisposed.
All that kind of stuff, yeah. And Dad's last job was down at SoxCent in Tampa, Florida, and I'd go hang out with those guys, and just extraordinary men, extraordinary community, and it was a good lifestyle growing up. And so I knew that's what I wanted to do. So I went to college and was in ROTC, and so got commissioned through college, through the University of Alabama, and went in the Army. But even backing up before that, I mean, just my background, parents, strong Christians, raised with a strong faith, played sports a ton.
Now, what sports?
I lettered in soccer. I was all-state in soccer.
Yeah.
Tennis, I lettered in because my girlfriend at the time was playing tennis, and I was like, oh, well, I'll play tennis with her, and ended up I was number 6 man, person I ever played tennis. Yeah. Track, cross country, we were state champions. Kicked for the junior high football team a little bit. Skateboarded, loved punk rock.
Yeah, I was about to say, you have like a punk side of you?
Yeah. I used to play drums. My parents made the mistake of giving me a 5-piece drum set, when I was in the 8th grade, down in Tampa when we were down there, and we played in a punk band, a heavy metal band, and we played Christian rock. We changed the lyrics for some Black Sabbath songs. Yeah, we changed it to Christian lyrics, and then we still get in trouble, for playing old Iron Man.
Well, that's like taking a pill and wrapping it in peanut butter and trying to. No, just here, take this. This is wrapped in a no.
It's too loud. It's too heavy.
The beauty's on the inside.
That's right.
It's the message.
Right. Listen to the words. Get away from the heavy beat. But so growing up, had 2 brothers. I'm the oldest of 3. My next youngest brother is he works for the State Department. He's been a career State Department diplomat. He's down in South Africa right now.
Okay.
And then Andrew, my youngest brother, he's in the FBI, and he served for a number of years in the Army, the 173rd. He and I were actually in Afghanistan together. We get into that in 05. 05, 06, same fire base. Two operational theaters, Iraq and Afghanistan. No. And in 05, the 173rd Airborne Brigade deployed to Afghanistan. He was in RC East in Oregon E, and 3rd Special Forces Group deployed. And I got assigned to Oregon E. And so we're at the same fire base.
No kidding.
At the same time.
How did you feel about that? Were you, I mean, there has to be a part of you that's like super proud, but is there a part of you that's kind of like, oh man, we're both over here and it's dangerous, Yes, and yes. Super proud. Both my brothers. I mean, one being diplomat. Right, absolutely. Yeah.
And then Andrew, and he got out. He got hit with that 12-month and 15-month deployment thing. After the 15-monther, he's like, I'm out. With the FBI, he's done extraordinary things. He got he got several prolific awards, I'll say, last year for some of the stuff that he's done, counterespionage work. But very proud of him. But anyway,
a lot behind the scenes there that can't be talked about.
I mean, it can't be.
You're proud of him.
He's such a stud, man. You're gonna want to bring him on the podcast. If I say too much about him, but But yeah, so we were there, and he wanted to go on ops with us, and we did some stuff. He hung out with us and everything, and Mom and Dad would tell me at the same time, "Don't you take Andrew on any of your missions?" And we'd be like, "Well, we need an extra gunner. We need an extra."
I was wondering about that.
Yeah.
Man, that's so unique, though.
It was.
I mean, that's so unique.
That's what I'm saying. Two theaters, Iraq, Afghanistan. This is 2005, so the war's been going on several years.
Yeah.
And he's over there in Europe, in UCOM. I'm under SOCOM in third group in USASOC, and we both ended up in Afghanistan, both in the same regional command, and both at the same exact fire base.
That's incredible.
I mean, it
That's
was
incredible.
It was a God thing.
Well, so you mentioned you're throwing out a lot of powerful acronyms that a lot of people, and I mean they're great. And let me tell you this: the reason I want to break this down is because I'm sure I mean, you're a professional. I mean, you spent
Once upon a time.
A lot. Well, yeah. Yeah, but there's still some elements alive within you, right? But no, I mean, but those schools and a lot of those things can run. Like, you went through schools, you went through training, you went through all of these different rigorous things, and you had to sacrifice. So to save from just saying that, and some people thinking, I don't really know what that is, but that sounds legit, which it is. So tell me about some of the schools. How tough were they? I mean,
so I got commissioned and went into the infantry, 82nd Airborne Division. Starting off peacetime, 97. Did that for 4 years. Knew I wanted to go SF. You had to be promotable to captain. I was a young lieutenant. And same thing for NCOs. They had to be, promotable to E5. They changed that later and created the X-18 X-ray program to bring guys in during the height of the wars. But
so enlistment. So what's your faith looking like? Solidified? Not yet.
Yeah. So that's a great question. So very strong faith in high school and college. I went 2 years at Texas Christian University, and then switched over to the University of Alabama, graduated over there, spent 4 more years. So I spent 6 years in college. Enjoyed college, I enjoyed learning, changed my major multiple times. Ultimately graduated with a major in history, minor in English, but I studied everything from geology to philosophy to psychology. I think I'm 9 hours short of a psych major, a psych degree. I could probably do that online.
Hey, you're right there.
I mean, I
quit
probably should.
Dragging feet to get it done.
Yeah.
No, just kidding.
Just pay out of pocket. And but no, I enjoyed it. And I sat a semester out, worked on a boat. Just had a lot of fun because I knew once I went in the Army, I had to be locked into that. And
what kind of boat are we talking about?
Well, actually, it was a replica of Columbus's ship, the Nina.
Yeah. Okay. Is that part of that history thing you've got? You're like,
I mean,
special to you?
These guys wanted to raise Columbus awareness, and they built a replica of Columbus's ship, the Nina, and it's been to Florence a couple of times.
No joke.
They said it's in the Smithsonian now, I think. It was in the movie Christopher Columbus, because the Nina is the only one of the 3 ships, the Nina, Pinta, and Santa Maria, that the logs and the plans still exist for. So he built it to the exact specifications. So this rich millionaire guy that was into boating, he built it out of Brazilian hardwood, and he sailed it around the rivers in North America, the Tennessee, the Mississippi, the Ohio, everything else, and raised Columbus awareness town to town. So I mean, that's just a cool thing. It happened. They needed a crew member. I hired on. Said I'll sit a semester out of college to do that. It was extraordinary.
Do you value life experiences as much as some? Like different types of learning?
I do.
Is that one of them? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, experiential, definitely, and we can get into it later, but with my kids, I got 4 sons. We spent several years in Europe in between deployment cycles with third group. We go to Europe. We're in Norway, Estonia, and Belgium before we came back to the States at different times. And, they learned Norwegian. They learned Estonian, even some Russian. My oldest son, Noah, he's been to St. Petersburg. Russia. This is before
Yeah.
Ukraine, right? Actually, right after Ukraine happened. But how many kids can say that? And so they've skied in the Alps. They've been all over Europe, and they went to international schools, and they encounter international friends. Still to this day, and so
I think there's some incredible life lessons out there in that.
yeah.
I think a lot of times when you can get out of the box a little bit, and I think there's so much out there. I mean, not to knock on the school system, and there's some incredible teachers who have had, eternal impacts on people's lives.
Yep. Teachers are beautiful people.
But man, if you can get out, I remember staring at the walls, thinking if I could get out here and go on an adventure, I would felt like I could thrive. Were you a good test taker?
Like sitting down taking a test.
Yeah.
Like grade wise, or just taking the test.
Because are you
I kind of had that motto in college: C's get degrees. Kind of thing. I shouldn't say that out loud.
Oh, yours were C's.
But
some people say D's get degrees. It even starts with the same letter.
Yeah, it's like 1 or 2. But I was never an honor student or anything like that. I was in gifted and talented art. I did well at that. I loved history. I loved literature. College took a lot of literature classes, a lot of English. But I was not the best student grade-wise. I was doing a lot of different things. I was involved in a lot of different things. I traveled a lot, even in college, and a lot of extracurriculars. Yeah. But I read a lot on my own anyway. I still got a passion for learning. But
the reason I say that is because I feel like a lot of people are in the category that the ACT didn't define them as a student and as a learner. Yeah. They felt like it was a bad representation of them. And so they thrive in you obviously... intelligence, learning, growth, transformation. That's all important to you. But I was wondering, I appreciate how I learn now, I think, more than I did. You're juggling extracurriculars and year-round athletics, and you're trying to maintain the standard and doing well. But then, when you graduate, you read what you want to read. Yeah. You set your own habits and disciplines. And so I just didn't feel like a test all the time was a reflection of what you wanted to do.
No, in framing it like that, no, absolutely not. I believe in lifelong learning. I don't think that anybody should ever go dormant or stagnant. Yeah. I'm constantly trying to learn new things. Heck, piano. I've learned that I can't say learned it. I've started piano the last 6 months. I picked up a guitar 8 months ago, you know. I'm trying to go back to school now to get another master's in clinical mental health counseling, and we can do that stuff later, the reasons behind that. But, I read a tremendous amount. And there's always, if you switch off social media and you can get away from the busyness that,
It's a trap.
It is a trap. Yeah. And, society is so busy, period. Yeah. And there's so much entertainment, quick videos and look at this funny skit and that kind of stuff. I love humor, great, got
all
it.
About it.
But all day long, 10-second bites, it consumes
No, it does.
Your time. It consumes your mind, Yeah. And so, anyway, lifelong learning, it's definitely a passion of mine. Keeps your mind fit.
Yeah, going back to that, and we'll jump into some spiritual disciplines here in a minute, but I can tell the difference. You put me around like some youth of today. We go on some trips occasionally, spiritual retreats and things like that. You take I don't make a rule, like you can't have your phones. Obviously, I don't do that. But we try to set the culture in place where there's just like we're not even on them, and you're like the minority. If you're on it, people are like, hey, "What are you doing? We're having an incredible time." And so I really don't have to say anything. Yeah. But what I notice is a behavior change, enormous. Yeah. You just have to take my word for it.
Yeah. No,
I
think I understand.
Day one, they might be on their phones on the bus ride. Yeah. You get down there and you just get saturated in an environment, and they detach from it, and their face isn't stuck in it. Yeah. They turn into different people. Yeah. It's unreal.
Well, think about the interpersonal connection that we lose when we're in our phones all the time. It used to be you couldn't connect with somebody unless you made a phone call at their house. It's like, hey, I'll meet you at 7:30, in the parking lot of Safeway, and then we're all going to go drive around. Well, maybe they show up at 7:30, maybe they don't. If they don't, you don't know where they are. There's no way to find out. You're not going even phone booths. I mean, it is extraordinary how much technology has changed our lives. There's good and bad, sides to it. But I think the biggest deficit that we have nowadays in society writ large is the human, the interpersonal
social relationships
connection.
Yeah, that's a good point. Have you seen the movie? This is way off base.
No,
Secret Life of Walter Mitty or Smitty or something like that.
No.
Oh man, it's this story about this guy. He sits in this cubicle. He punches the clock every day. He doesn't push any limits. He does his job, and that's it.
Bureaucrat.
Yeah.
Perfect bureaucrat.
Yeah. Well, okay. Here's the switch. Switches gears. So there's this guy who takes photography, like basically the equivalent of like Time or Life magazine or whatever. Yeah. So he's like, man, who is this guy? So his interests, like he's starting to collide with this, like, am I living or slowly dying and wasting away and degrading every day? So what happens is he's jumping out of helicopters and he finds himself like chasing this mysterious photographer all across the world, and he starts to live again, and everything starts to be a little brighter.
Yep.
And he busts away from the computer screen, and well, he goes on like what I would call like a ride along or field training or something. He goes along and he's with this guy like on this snowy mountain scene. There's like this snow leopard or something. And it's the photo shot of the year, and he's like behind the camera, and he looks at him and he's like, when are you gonna take it? And he's got this animal that's like it's not seen for like every 100 years, like this beautiful, majestic animal over there. And he's like, sometimes I don't. I just enjoy it. And I try to capture the moment for me.
That's beautiful.
That floored me. Yeah. I mean, I was like, oh. So I even think of special family moments. I think of things that are special to me, or even if I'm out in nature. I saw this video. It's like this perspective of a kid.
Yeah.
And it was a picture of a mom or a dad with a phone as a head, because they look. And what do they see? Even when we're taking pictures, they see your body with a screen stuck in their face. Yeah. And I started thinking, man, there's something to that. There's something about getting away from phones. So, do you have any spiritual disciplines that pull you out of the decay and put you into like a good place? Journaling, meditation. I mean, what's your thing?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question, and I would say that it's evolved over time, for sure. I think that's a great story about being in the moment, being present, with something, with an experience, with a person, in nature, because pictures never do it justice. It's great. It's great if you go to the Grand Canyon, get a picture of the Grand Canyon, and then enjoy the sunset, enjoy the sunrise, But I mean, over the years, and again, we'll get more into this later, but since retiring from the military, I've rediscovered me, so to speak. Yeah. I mean, that's a whole identity in and of itself, being a professional soldier, and that kind of elite type unit. The men you're around, some of the most extraordinary men on the face of the earth. Yeah. And suddenly you're just kind of out in the civilian world. And so, what do you do? And how do you find yourself? And
it's a sobering moment, I imagine.
Very, very much so. Yeah. And as my faith has evolved, also, we're talking about lifelong education, lifelong learning. I'm still growing in my faith. I mean, I can say that, and I've done. I think I've had a great faith walk. I'm a great Christian. This and that, and at any stage of life. Mm-hmm. Never perfect, of course. Yeah. But I'm still growing, and God's still doing things. And so now, the last several years, and the last 2 years in particular, I've gotten into, I read a lot of, so my morning routine is somewhere between reading, prayer, meditation, contemplative prayer, contemplative meditation on wherever I'm reading.
Yeah.
I'm bouncing between a number of books. I do 3 kind of readings in the morning, every morning. And I sit outside on my porch in nature. I live kind of out in West Lauderdale County, and I got some wonderful land around me. I got a great landlord, and you can't see any houses, can't see a road. It's deer, it's turkey, it's butterflies and ladybugs, it's hummingbirds, and I mean, when the snow came this past weekend, I got my bird feeders out, put a ton of bird seed out there, and the robins came in.
They bring your coffee to you.
Man, I'm telling you, it's like 12 or 15 birds are sitting out there like right in front of the porch. They know me. They know Plato. Plato's laying there, and they just kind of look at him,
Yeah,
and
I'll actually take a dark roast coffee this morning.
Yeah,
and they fly that into you.
It's like hummingbird, bring me the nectar.
Yeah,
I mean, they'll fly up, they'll go, and they'll kind of say hey, and they'll cruise off. I mean, it's
that's nice.
It's extraordinary when you're at peace with the land, and when everything's just calm and it's quiet.
Yeah.
So news. I've gotten away from the news. I don't listen to the news on like NPR or whatever broadcast from my computer. I'm not blaring music in the morning. I virtually don't exist on social media. I mean, my last Facebook post was 3.5 years ago, after I retired. And so I get up in the mornings, and the first thing I try and do is center and ground myself with God, and find space for me. And there's mornings I wake up and I got anxiety. I've got stuff to do, or I got these things, but I want to get that calm centered space for me first, with Him. And a lot of times that sets me at ease, like perfect way to start the day.
Did you have that level? Because I would call that spiritual discipline. It may be easier or harder now. I imagine that's easier, like doing some past reflections and in this new chapter in your faith walk. What did that look like in basic training? Would you say,
oh man,
did you listen to that voice at all? Did you have to get centered on faith at all? Were you trying to tackle that huge challenge in front of you? I mean, what was your go-to?
Yeah, I mean, going back to how I was raised, pretty strong Christian walk. I mean, you work with youth, not perfect.
No, yeah.
But when I got to college, I kind of got away from my faith, actually quite a bit, as a matter of fact, and didn't kind of draw close to God again until I went in the Army, got married. We had our first kid probably about a year into, year and a half into me being in the military, and my ex-wife, we're divorced now, but we were not attending church regular, and so we started to attend. I said, you know what? I said, we're starting a family. We need to get into church, and I need to get back to my roots, and so we did. And it ebbed and flowed throughout my career. I still try. I mean, prayer's always been something central. I've always prayed, whether it's a blessing, public, or at home. In the mornings, always try to do at least one devotional. Deployments, always had my Bible. Always had readings to take with me. So God was always there. It's not like I ever left Him. When I was in a non-deployment cycle, we were actively involved in church. I did some things in some of the churches, some lay ministries, men's ministry, and stuff like that. But
did being a Christian help to set you up for success for that phase in your life?
Honestly, I think it did, because, and when we get into the war years, so to speak, I mean, it's what helped ground me in those 7 deployments where horrific things happen.
Yeah,
inhuman things happen. Mm-hmm. You see things, experience things, and sometimes you're a part of things and you do things.
Oh yeah,
that just are not.
Well, it's abnormal.
It's abnormal.
If nothing else,
yeah.
It's abnormal. It's not a normal thing, and a very small percentage of the world gets to experience. Well, might be not the best description, but experiences.
Yeah,
get those experiences.
War, I guess.
Yeah.
And the thing I think a lot of Americans don't realize is a lot of us did go over many times, and a lot of us went over and had very difficult deployments, one-offs and two-offs. And I'll say this: nobody signed up for 20 years of war. I mean, we talked to guys. I mean, nobody expected that. That's a whole other topic. But you're going back to the same country over and over. Those people have been living it over there, in Iraq, in Afghanistan. I mean, look at Syria. Look at Israel. 4 years, and I mean, it's just they don't get a break.
Yeah.
Now whether or not we should be. Or they're fighting Afghanistan was certainly a just war in terms of Al Qaeda and Bin Laden, what they did, on 9/11.
Yeah.
Iraq, a little bit more debatable. Again, different discussion.
Yeah.
But they were the wars that our country, asked us to go and fight, and we did.
Answered the call.
Like I say, when you go over and over and over, spanning 20 years, I fought for 10 of those years, going back and forth, and a lot of guys did too. A lot of difficulty. So my faith did ground me in terms of there's a lot of moral ambiguity in war. There's a lot of gray space in war. And especially when you're a special operator, you have a lot of latitude, and you're given a lot of trust. And with much trust comes a lot of responsibility.
That's right, absolutely.
And so the men are your NCOs are solid. And the leadership has to be solid as well. And you're all working together to ensure that, we're staying within the boundaries of, achieving our mission sets that we have. We had some of those difficult mission sets, of anybody over there. I'm talking about special operations personnel in general. And trying not to let everything you experience bring you down, bring your soul down. It's incredibly dark. You're seeing death and tragedy. You're seeing, men, women, children, destruction and chaos. It's a hyper-fueled environment, for adrenaline, for your amygdala, for the mind, and you're going out gunning, night after night. It takes a toll.
It pays an enormous toll on the body, mind, even spiritually, I would imagine.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, there's things you ask God when you got to deploy again. Really, I mean, again. And it takes a toll on families. The families left back here, and they didn't necessarily sign up for it. Their spouse or their father or their mother, they're the ones going over and over and over, and then they're left back home, kind of waiting on you to return. And my oldest son Noah, I mean, he was the man of the house from the first deployment when I went over and took care of his brothers and still does to this day. I mean, it's just there's a lot to unpack in that. But my faith, yes, kept me grounded for sure.
Yeah. So walk me through some of the schools you've been through.
So came in the Army, went to the 82nd Infantry, went to Ranger School right out of the basic course. Got bronchitis, got dropped in phase 1 at Benning.
That sounds like a fun experience.
Yeah, they medically recycled me. I went back 30 days later, reinserted, got it a second time, and so I couldn't come back for like 6 months or a year or whatever it was. So they sent me to the 82nd without a Ranger tab. Now, going to the 82nd Airborne Division without your Ranger tab is not a cool thing.
Oh, yeah.
And so I was waiting on that,
Did you take any heat from that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
heck
from
yeah.
everybody?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. You've got to, when are you going to go back, And so I went back first chance I got and went straight through. But that third time I went back, I mean, it's like, you know what to expect. And it's tough.
Is there an understanding that a lot of people will go back through for different reasons? Yeah, I mean, I remember there's a lot of SWAT. There's different SWAT selections that people will tell you're expected to not make it the first time. Is that similar?
Ranger School is, more than anything else, it's a leadership school. But it's designed to put you under the most stressful conditions, very little sleep, very little food, and you're moving and you're doing ops for, 2 months. 3 phases. The Benning phase, essentially in the woods, mountain phases down to Dahlonega, Georgia. and swamp phase down in Florida. And I don't know what the percentage is. It's very low, the number that start and the number that graduate. But there's a lot of injuries. Guys get injured and they're studs and they don't make it through.
Yeah.
A lot of guys quit, probably more quit than anything else. I mean, that's the biggest thing. They don't want guys.
Just a mental state.
Yeah,
just weeds people out.
You are just exhausted. You're starving, and you got to hike mountains.
Yeah.
In Dahlonega, Georgia, all night. You may get 30 minutes of sleep or an hour. That's it. You got maybe 2 MREs a day, roughly. So you're burning tremendous amounts of fuel.
So calorie-wise, I mean, not enough.
Oh, dude. You come out of that place, you are just famished. I mean, I can see my ribs. You're exhausted. You're tired all the time.
And so, what's the wildlife looking like out there? Does a squirrel run by? You think, oh.
Well, I know in the mountains I was hallucinating at some point. You don't even know if you're looking at a deer or not because I'll never forget. I was leaning down. A ranger's falling asleep on the ground. We're like on a patrol in the middle of the night. We didn't all have nods back then. Night vision. And so we're walking. I see this dude laying down. And I walk over and I'm like, "Hey, bro, you got to get up. We got to keep moving." And I'm trying to wake him up. He won't wake up. Next thing I know, a ranger instructor grabs me, swings me around, goes, "What are you doing, Ranger?" I said, "This guy's asleep, man. We need to get him up." He goes, "It's a tree." He goes, "Keep walking." It's that classic thing where you're hallucinating so much that you don't. I've heard people trying to get food out there, you nug through it. And the point is to show you that you can survive. And you can still think, you can still operate, you can still perform, under the most extreme conditions. And Ranger School is probably harder than combat. Considering it's 2 months straight.
It's probably designed that way.
Different categories, but the exhaustion level,
Yeah. So what was that third time? How'd you push through that third?
I just went and did it.
Yeah, just got it done.
Yeah, and knocked out straight through. My brother Andrew, he went through. He recycled bending phase twice. He recycled mountains once, and then went straight through Florida. So he was there an extra, 2 months, but he did it essentially twice.
Yeah.
But a lot of guys, go back. So anyway, I finished that, and I was going to and then my time in the 82nd, and then I was going to the captain's course down at Fort Benning, leaving Fort Bragg, going back to Fort Benning. And the day I reported in was 9/11, 2001. I was driving into Fort Benning and stopped to get a coffee at a gas station, and everybody was listening to the radio. It was Billy Bob and whatever that morning show is, and they're like talking all serious, and everybody's in there kind of talking. There's like 20 people in the gas station. I'm like, what's going on? And they said a plane just hit the World Trade Centers, and then the second plane hit. And so I went and got in the line for the gate at Fort Benning to drive in and report in. And, we just signed a lease. We didn't have our furniture. My wife, with our kids, she was at her parents' house in Georgia, Kathleen, Georgia. And so they shut the gates. It's like, everybody go home. So I went home, watched my downstairs neighbor, said, "I don't have a TV. Kind of watch your TV." And sat there glued to it all day. Then they hit the Pentagon,
Yeah.
And it's like, we're at war. And so that was, kind of day one walking into the captain's career course. And I'd already passed SF selection. I went when I was in the 82nd. And it was before 9/11, so there's a lot of pushback. If you want to go SF and you put your packet in for Special Forces to go to selection, you got you got stern talkings too. We'll just put it like that. You don't want to do that. All SF guys do is go to Africa and hand out MREs and teach basic rifle marksmanship.
Yeah.
I mean, it had been peacetime, besides Grenada, Panama, Desert Storm, since Vietnam.
Yeah.
And so now we're in our captain's career course, and 8 or 9 of us that were going to the SFQ course after that at Fort Bragg. We're like, oh man, it's on. But we're probably going to miss the war because the Q course is going to last, with the captain's course, 2 years with language school and everything else. And so we're thinking the war's going to be over by the time we get out.
Yeah.
So I go back to my earlier comment, 20 years of war,
Yeah, no kidding.
We got there with plenty of time. There's plenty of time left. And
So went through 2 years.
Yeah, so finished the time down at Fort Benning and went back to Fort Bragg to the Q course, and that's basically phase 2, kind of like Ranger School, to use small unit tactics to kind of level the field, because you got a lot of guys that go there. Now you're intermixed with everybody's going to be on a team. All the NCOs, all the officers working together. In phase 2, small unit tactics, they call it. They might change the name by now, and it's learning how to patrol, how to do night movements, how to do day movements, raids, ambushes, reconnaissance, all that kind of stuff. Out there at the John F. Kennedy Special Warfare Center on the backside of Fort Bragg. And then you go into your kind of specialty phase. You got guys that are medics. They'll do that for a long time. I think the 18 Deltas, the medics. I mean, that's like a year and a half, 2 years.
No.
I mean they're just extraordinary medics, best in the world.
No.
And they do their last phase like in the most violent ERs in America, in hospitals. So they'll go to Chicago, they go to New York, and work in the ERs to get trauma wounds, because they're going to the battlefield.
Oh, that knowledge! You talk about having someone around, to help keep people alive.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I mean, the confidence in your team, even with basic stuff.
Yeah.
I remember learning that you can C-clamp your arm. I just thought, that is vital. Everybody needs to know that.
That's right.
Oh, I mean, and some people, I mean, they don't care, and maybe, I don't know, I'm weird. I don't know, maybe we're both weird. But when I learned that, I thought, that is incredible.
Oh, yeah.
Because I learned one of the most common things, unfortunately, that causes unnecessary deaths is blood loss.
Yep.
And so if you can stop the bleeding and stop the dying,
absolutely critical.
And so I mean, you're talking, you C-clamp an arm, and if your arm, if up to a certain point your arm gets cut off, and you C-clamp it. See, now some people are like, oh, who cares about that? Well, if there's a kid in the neighborhood and he sticks his hand up on our lawnmower, that's the difference.
Yeah.
If you throw a tourniquet in your car and you're working on the tractor and somebody's bush hogging and somebody gets jacked up, it makes a difference. Or if you're up in the deer I mean, we could go through 1,000 applications, but my point is, you learn something like that. I watched somebody stick a nasopharyngeal tube. I'm probably saying that wrong, but you watch somebody shimmy that down somebody's nose, in front of them, just to demonstrate to you. You're like, yeah, it's good.
Or trachs, where they slit the trachea. I mean, I've never been there live and seen it done with anybody, but I know they train on that. And
and see, that's
EMTs
another
can do
level.
that.
I mean, I never went to or saw anything on that level, but the fact that people know how to do it, it's good to have them around.
Yeah, it's very good to have them around.
So they're introduced, they're doing all this training, your team's coming together.
Yeah, and you got communicators that go to to learn communications. You got the engineers who learn how to build stuff and blow stuff up. You've got the Bravos, everything about every weapon system, in the world, how to build demolitions, how to deconstruct them. And so you got this incredible team with 12 guys, ideally. And you got a warrant officer on there who's doing intel, the 18 Fox, another NCO that's a more senior NCO, trying to intel too to develop situations. And it's all managed by the team sergeant, the master sergeant on the team who's got the most experience of anybody. And then you got the captain, who's in there trying to navigate and really learn, from his team sergeant, from his warrant officer. I mean, those three guys should be best friends. They really should. And it's not like a formal military unit. It's respect is earned. You got to work with the guys. The guys have to know and trust you. It's a very tight, cohesive entity, and it has to be that way because of how few you are, and you can be out there by yourselves. Yeah. And everybody's got to be cross-trained on every other discipline. You got to have some medical training. You got to have some communication training. Engineer training, demolitions. What am I missing? Weapons, comms, engineer, medical. Yeah, operated vehicle. Whatever. And you got to trust all the guys on that team. I mean, it's an extraordinary small unit.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
All right, so you finished that up. At that point, it's pretty much go time.
Yeah. So I finished. We finished that. There's SUT, then your main phase. The Alphas, Bravos, Charlies, Deltas, Echoes do theirs. We come back together for Robin Sage. It's the name of the final unconventional warfare exercise they do in the Q course. It's out in Pineland. Pineland is a beautiful and wonderful place. And
You lying again?
It exists. No. Pineland is a very real place. I can promise you that. And we do our last unconventional warfare exercise out there, and you can still fail the Q course if you don't. It's like your final test. You come together as a 12-man ODA, piercing into somewhere in Pineland and doing operations. And if you fail to do what you've been trained to do for a year and a half, they don't want you, especially in a time of war. They're looking at guys. Can this guy perform the way he needs to? And we finished that, and then you go to language school.
Oh.
I got Arabic. Arabic was 6 months. It's a Cat 4 language.
Yeah.
I got a 1-1+ in that, though. I studied it. I mean, again, enjoy studying. I mean, it's 5 hours a day, 6 hours a day, whatever it was, 5 days a week. I'm getting paid to learn a language.
Yeah.
So I said, heck yeah. It's like a code. It's like 20-something characters. And the letter shifts depending on if it's at the beginning, middle, or end. So it turns into like 90 characters. Plus your
I've heard it's a tough language.
On a Nahib, Rob. And you got to learn the gutturals, and it's right to left. I mean, it's complicated. Mandarin Chinese is difficult. Russian is difficult. A couple of Cat 4s. And then after that, SEER Level C, SEER School, Level C, Survive, Evade, Resist, Escape.
Yeah.
And Level C is you go out and you learn basic survival, in the woods and the elements. Then you're evading. Then you go into a practical exercise. You're evading for days. You got to feed yourself. You got to catch stuff. You got to perform certain tasks.
Was there any portion of it that was kind of fun? I get to escape here. I'm on the run. Or are we talking? You're pretty much miserable the whole time.
I mean, again, if you're in a learning mentality, it's a lot of fun because you learn that you can eat anything. You just got to cook it long enough. But everybody gets caught because you've got to get to
I've heard
the POW camp. Everybody gets caught, and that's where it's not as much fun.
There's always that piece, I'm sure, in everyone's mind. I'm gonna be the one, who's not gonna get caught. I mean,
it probably is, man. But you're gonna get caught.
I know, but I've also heard that. I've also heard you're gonna get caught, and everyone says, you're not gonna get caught. And I mean,
nobody evades forever.
This is totally.
Everybody gets to the POW camp.
This is totally different. This is totally different. And I'm about to accidentally mess these statistics up. But I remember we're about to get pepper sprayed in the face, and I know this is totally different. But I remember you're reading all these ridiculous statistics about it. And you're like, there's 1 in 250,000. That's like it doesn't even affect. So they hit me right in the face with it for police training. And so I remember I blinked and I felt the clear liquid. It went over my eyeballs, and I still see. And it's like it's been a second. I'm like, oh man,
you're that guy.
I'm the 1 in 250,000. No, I wasn't that guy. Those crystals activated, and it rocked my world. And so it was enjoyable. But was there not that feeling like, dude, I'm the one.
You hope you do, but when you get more progressed and when you progress in your career, you realize how the schools work, and they're gonna drive down the roads by day 5 and be like, if you are still out there, Rob Gray, come out of the woods, or you can drop from the Q course because you're going to the POW camp.
Oh man,
yeah. I don't know. I don't know for sure. I mean, maybe
because that is the point. You got to rip the Band-Aid off and get it done. You're gonna get caught, and that's part of the school.
You got to go experience.
You got to
what
do
it's
it.
like to get slapped around and get be under duress and be under interrogation, all that. But again, a lot of learning points in there, and the point is for it to be difficult. I don't want to say too much about it, but I'll throw one spiritual maxim in there.
Yeah.
They had a guy come out, and he had a Bible. And so he sat us all down, and they sat us all down, and this guy's reading the Bible, and he starts spitting on it. He's tearing out pages, all like that. He's like, this is garbage, and he kept asking, does anybody here believe this garbage? And we're all sitting there miserable, tired, hungry, beat up, battered, bruised, whatever. And I said, you know what? I've never been persecuted as a Christian. This is my chance. I'm not kidding you, man. I was like, what the heck? It's training, and why not? I said, I'm just going to get up and say one Bible verse, and John 3:16.
Yeah.
And I said, they're not going to kill me. They're not going to martyr me. So I've been training. Let me see what it's like. And so I did. I stood up and I said, I believe in that.
I'm about to take this right now. Yeah. And this is my chance, baby.
Let's have a debate, dude. Yeah. And so we started flipping scripture back and forth. It rocked. Believe me. But it was.
Wait, in what way?
Well, I mean, I was, after our back and forth, I was we'll say, removed, taken to a small room.
Yeah.
And taught all about how silly my belief system was. Again, in the context of training, but it was something I did, more for me to see what it would be like to debate somebody like that, and then to undergo.
Was there anything to the debate, though? I mean, was there any intellectual points, or was it more so like the psychological experience was going to happen? You pushed the envelope a little bit, it happened, and you're kind of like, I did it. Or were you like, oh man, he brings up some good points while it gets like.
You know what? I can't remember. I mean, I do know that afterwards he came up to me, when it's all over, we graduated, straight in and said, hey man, I just want you to know that, I'm a Roman Catholic, I was like, well, you were spitting on the Bible. He was like, well, it's kind of role play. But we had a great discussion, and he said there's been other people who have done that, to kind of see what it's like, to be literally persecuted, in a controlled environment.
Yeah, right.
Again, I want to acknowledge, in a controlled environment. Or debate, whatever it was, I don't recall exactly. I just stood up and said, I love God.
Sit down. We're about to have a conversation.
Trinitarian God.
I'm about to talk to you about the Bible real quick.
We got 5 minutes before we get gruel, right? Let's talk for 5 minutes, dude. No, didn't work like that.
No, okay. Well, we're gonna wrap up phase 1. We got a lot of the foundation set, and we're about to talk a lot more about faith in action, move into a little deeper into the war, the effect on the family, effect on life and faith. And so what's something, as we bring this to a close, what we're about to head into, what's on the horizon? Is it sunshine, rain clouds? What do you see? Red sky at night?
All 4 seasons.
All right.
I would say. Again, the war years lasted just that, years. And when you got war coming and going in your home for over a decade, and mental health and the compounding impacts of multiple deployments, combat deployments, were not really known in this generation. You better strap in. And it's something that guys and gals are still dealing with today, that families are still dealing with today.
Yeah.
The wars are still going on for a lot of people.
Yeah.
For families, for men and women. So a lot of tremendous stories, great human beings, God's deliverance, God in a lot. But at the same time, the impact of not having a clear national strategy. Let me just say that. Let me be very clear. Our national strategy changed over time, again and again. And, at the end of the day, the effects on the political leadership over 20 years, it's not the same as the effects at the tactical level, I'll say, of families, of men and women that fought, went over and over and over as we tried to redefine, what it should look like. And, I can't find fault anywhere, really. It's not my place to judge. I don't even know how to have that conversation.
Yeah.
But just factually, it
proved to be challenging, to say the least.
Yeah, and still does. So.
Well, we're going to continue on and talk about your faith, these tough roads you walk down, and find out through the lens of Bible and Scripture kind of where that leads, where it's led you to, and eventually what's on the horizon. And the other thing I think to note through is that walking with Jesus. Christians go through some tough things, and you're spoken about your element of faith. You've spoken briefly about some of the gritty things you've had to go through. And so there's an element that we're going to talk about too, where unfortunately, maybe even some could say fortunately, in the sense of counted as joy with trials. I
Sure.
say that lightly.
Yeah.
I say that lightly because it's not fun going through storms, but I think you've got something to share from those experiences, and that people who have faith can walk through some dark times and cling to Jesus through it. And so, we're going to talk about that.
Let's do it, man. Let's get some hope out there. Yeah.
All right. Appreciate you. You just finished listening to episode 4, part 1 of the Birds Words podcast, where grit and faith meet, with our guest, Rob Gray. And we'll be looking for you on the next episode.